All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to an Extivia webinar, delivering the information you need for the business future you want. We're sharing our knowledge to help your business thrive in today's new normal. My name is Alex Killian, and I'm the video producer here on Extivia's marketing team. And today you'll be hearing from two of our Govcon experts, Senior Account Executive Mark Lahart and Head of our Govcon division, Paul Skirpsky. To tell you a little bit about our company this morning, for nearly 3 decades, we've been providing a variety of expert IT services to hundreds of businesses in countless industries. If you can imagine the business outcome, Extivia can create it with technology. And before I pass it over to Mark this morning, we're just going to have a quick poll question for you. So what is your financial system in use today, what you're currently using? QuickBooks, Uninet, Deltek, Microsoft, or something else. So go ahead and let us know what you're currently using, and then we'll share those results for everyone to see. Give everybody a chance to get some answers in here. And if you're watching live on our YouTube channel this morning, you can go join this webinar if you want to vote on the poll questions or be in here for Q&A. But if not, you'll see the results here also. All right, got some answers in. And it looks like mostly our viewers this morning are on Microsoft and Deltek. Got some on QuickBooks, and it looks none on Uninet. So good to know. Thanks for your answers, everybody. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Mark.
All right, thanks, Alex, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Lahart with Extivia, part of the Govcon 365 group here with Extivia. So we're excited to have you here this afternoon. Really just want to give you an introduction to a product called Govcon 365 by Extivia. This is an application developed by Extivia specifically for Business Central to meet the needs all around a government contractor, what they would need. So this is also an application that, as I mentioned, we developed, and it's been approved by Microsoft. So we're the only Microsoft approved government contractor app that is available here for you. So this application, as you would imagine, is a full ERP financial product here, meeting the needs around your general ledger, financial accounting, job costing, managing your indirect rates, cost pools, has integrated time and expense, budgeting capabilities for both jobs and financials, and meeting your compliance needs. And one thing that we also bring as a partner here, Microsoft partner, is our consultants are they're very savvy here around the needs of a government contractor. So you're not working with an IT consultant or implementer. They all have strong business and accounting backgrounds. The former controllers or CFOs of government contractors, and some are even former DCAA auditors. So next slide, Alex. So Extivia is everything Microsoft. So everything around the ERP platform, CRM, we can help you with human resources, analytics tools, portal development, and Azure. So if you're looking to move your current infrastructure up into the cloud of Azure, we can help you. Do that. We can also help you navigate how to get approved for Azure Government Cloud, as well as their Office 365 GCC high environments. We have the experience and expertise to be able to help you with that. So our focus, as Alex said, is we've been serving the needs of folks who are working and selling their services to the government contractor. So we've got 18 plus years experience. As I mentioned, our consultants are very intelligent and can help you bring an implementation approach around best practices. Okay, so understanding Microsoft Dynamics here a little bit, how they get their products out to market. So Microsoft is very focused on developing vertical partnerships with their partners, such as Extivia. So you can see here from this slide that they have a bunch of different focuses in vertical markets, and then they rely on partners to bring subject matter expertise into this solution for the end user client. We've built our practice around government contracting with the developed app here of Govcon 365. This is basically what we do.
Yeah, and Mark, just for folks they're on the phone that are using Microsoft today, if you're talking with a Microsoft partner and they are not talking about Govcon 365 and you're a government contractor, you need to make sure that either reach out to us or we also work through other partners because the Govcon 365 app is the only approved app for government contractors on Business Central. Like Mark mentioned, with 18 years of experience and hundreds of implementations, migrating companies from everything from QuickBooks to Jamis to Uninet, Deltek, and also Procast and Simpac. We've got the experience to help support your needs today and also into the future.
Thanks, Paul. Good points. Alex?
So this slide is telling a little bit about a series that we started with Paul and Mark here called Snack Time Snippets. And these are just bite-sized demos that provide some insight on the ins and outs of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. So we've got a link up on screen, but that'll also be in the description below on YouTube to check those out. We've got 6 parts of this series out already, and these are weekly, and we've already seen them helping people out a lot. So definitely check those out.
All right. Okay, so a little bit about Business Central. This product is Microsoft's small to mid-market application. It is the most widely used mid-market accounting solution in the world with about 130,000 clients worldwide. So it's one of the main reasons Extivia saw this as an opportunity to really develop the app that we have. Again, have it approved by Microsoft and have it part of the Business Central solution for government contractors. This product also is part of the, a tightly integrated infrastructure that Microsoft has here. So as you have other investments today in Microsoft products, you can take advantage here of the investments you've already made by having a platform that's Microsoft centric. So whether it's Office 365 or Power BI reporting, right, human resources or the financial platform, all right, it can all be in this unified technology environment here for you. So this slide I just want to speak to here. As you look at other products that are in the marketplace today, you'll find some niche vendors, right, that are very vertical specific with their features, right? Whether it's meeting the needs around, what you need as a government contractor or project accounting. But when it gets down into the platform and the actual use of the products, they get a little bit kludgy, right? And they're not as easy to navigate around these systems. They don't play nice with third-party products, right? So the technology that they're written in as a base is lacking here a little bit. It's difficult to get reporting out of these products. Generic ERP products that you might see, in say the QuickBooks world, they've got great platform capabilities to them and features. But when it gets into meeting sort of the needs, of having an integrated time and expense or, managing your indirect rates, right? Meeting compliance, they start to fall short, right? So Extivia brings to you the best of both worlds here. We bring a world-class mid-market ERP platform with industry-specific features to meet your needs. So we feel it's the best of both worlds for our clients. So again, a little bit about Business Central, and then we'll move over to a presentation here. The license model is very affordable and scalable. So there's power user licenses and then what they call team member licensing. And it's very, like I said, it's integrated reporting. So when you purchase Business Central, you get the entire suite with a few a la carte modules that you may or may not need, such as maybe you have a third-party payroll service provider. But the product is very Microsoft look and feel, right? So what we hear from our clients all the time is it's easy to navigate, it's easy to get reports out of the system. It's easy to train new folks as they come on board. And then again, one platform here, buy what you need, start off in a phased environment if you need to, but it's all in one platform, and we can help you out with whether it's Office licensing, CRM, Business Central, Power BI, and other Microsoft products. So, all right. So with that, let's go into the next poll and say, what would be the top features you would be looking for in a new financial system? So would it be tighter integration between your modules, operational efficiency improvements? Maybe it's less cost to maintain. Maybe you're looking for DCA compliance or just a better partner to support your systems.
And Mark, while you're kind of waiting for some answers there, you know, I want to open up an email that I got yesterday because I think that it'll be interesting because we've got several folks on here that are users of Deltek.
Okay.
And once you're finished with the poll, you know, I don't know if you want to talk about the results at all. I'm just going to pull up this email before I show the demo.
Yeah. How are we doing, Alex? Do we have the results? All right. So operational efficiencies. It's what we hear all the time, right? It's it doesn't surprise me that that's it. DCA compliance, possibly here for our QuickBooks guest. Tighter integration. Yeah, but operational efficiency is what we hear. Usually it's improvement of reporting and having tighter integration here with other capabilities to meet the needs of the breadth of the organization. So, all right, thank you.
All right, so Alex, do you want to just stop sharing for a second and I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right, fantastic. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull up, I blocked out some information on the email, so because I didn't get approval from this gentleman. But what he said is, you know, he said, Paul, hope you're well. We're happy customers and getting lots out of Power BI these days. So Power BI is the dashboard platform. Well, the system is not perfect, right? And none of these systems are. And we always try to make sure that we temper the excitement, because what you see, you're going to be so excited about, but you know, everything isn't exactly the way everybody wants it. He said, we've appreciated the upgrade from what we had before and glad Deltek is behind us almost. So I won't go and get into the rest of it, but you know, this is a company we migrated off of Deltek Cost Point, and you know, they continue to acquire businesses and happy about the decision they made to migrate to Microsoft Dynamics. And they're also, I guess, they're also buying additional companies and looking to migrate them to Business Central, as well as they're looking to roll out CRM. Alex, somehow your screen popped back up.
Well, I think so. Today's agenda is really to focus on some of the Govcon app capabilities. And so these are some of the areas that we wanted to take you through with an agenda. Again, we're happy to provide one-on-one discussions and one-on-one presentations for you. Today's meant to give you sort of a high-level overview of some of the capabilities. So we'll show you how to, you know, the managing of indirect rates happens, billing and revenue recognition, some of the reporting capabilities here that are within the application. And again, please visit our snack time snippets and you'll see other recordings there as well.
All right, I'll go ahead and pass it back over to you, Paul.
Yeah, sorry about that, Alex. I didn't realize there was another slide. So
No
fantastic. Yep. These are the challenges in this new environment where none of us are in the same room, right? We're all in homes all across the U.S. So I'm going to give you a little background on the application. And my focus today, like Mark mentioned, is going to be on some of the things that we've done to make this product better. So we've been doing it a long time. We think we've got a great solution. We're excited about the investments Microsoft's making to make Business Central, like Mark mentioned, it's not only the number one mid-market cloud ERP system, but we're seeing the growth exponential, and really excited about what Microsoft's doing. So what I want to do is today's focused on a services company, and I want to start with just a little bit about a contract, right? So for anyone that has IDIQs or GWACs, system has built-in contract tracking capabilities, and whether you're selling products or providing services, it's going to give you some features to help you to manage those aspects of the business. So when I'm on the contract card, it's information about the contract vehicle, contracting office detail. If it's a GSA contract, you need to track that IFF, the industrial funding fee. You can identify what that is. Same thing if you're a product company and you've got a soup contract. So we've got some pretty neat features built into there. On the contract management side, if you're selling products, we've got contract rules. So things about selling on that vehicle, making sure that it's always less than whatever your open market pricing is. So at least as low or lower than open market. Contacts that manage that contract vehicle as well as contacts on the client side. Any comments or details related to it, the catalog related to it. And then because we're talking to services companies, also your labor rates. So if you have a 10-year GSA schedule, you can have those labor rates built out. It's got an effective date built into it. And anytime you do work against this schedule, you perform the work against the job, and that's the next place we're going to go. And you're able to copy that in and also give discounts off the rate. So the contract is like the top level when I think about a services company. You've got your contract vehicle, and next you've got your job. So the job is going to have multiple levels to it. So whether it's tasks, subtasks, everything within that work breakdown structure. So in a list, in this case, a list of jobs, you're going to see on every list in the system, there's going to be what's called a fact box. And that fact box, this is the place to just get some quick metrics on that record. So on this job, the cyber threat detection project, you can see it's got a contract value of $2,850,000 is funded. We've got other details on revenue, billings, etc. Each one of these values is a drill down. So if I want to drill down in that $850,000 of funded amount, it takes me into my funding table. So I can see my initial funding. I can see mods. I can see details about option years or non-financial changes like a change to the POP. So these are things that are critical from a reporting perspective, as well as on the invoicing side to be able to display how much funding you have, prevents you from billing over those funding caps. So all these things are built into the application from a compliance, reporting, also on the invoicing side. One of the things that I'm excited about, and for anyone that wants to learn more about it, let us know, but we've got now some predictive analytics. So the area of that being on the funding. So you're supposed to notify the government 60 days prior to when you hit that funding percentage cap. Well, what we have now is we use Power BI and the planned budgets as a way to project when we're going to get to 60 days prior to when we get to 75% of funding used. So most systems can only tell you at the point you hit it. We're trying to help you know 60 days prior to when you hit it. So that's some cool stuff that we're doing in Power BI. And like that email talked about, that client was doing a lot with Power BI and really has changed the way that the organization is able to not only plan, but also, look out into the future in terms of what it holds for a project or for the overall business. So now when I get into a job, from this job card, you're going to see some information that's relevant just to this job. So you've got the job number, description, information about who is the customer you're performing the work for, who is your internal project manager. And then there's some details that we've added around things that are unique to a government contractor. So Mark talked about, revenue and billing. So we've got pre-built revenue and billing formulas, but it's also configurable. So if I think back 17 years ago, all of this was hard-coded. And then when a client had a unique billing requirement, we needed to enhance it for them. Now it's all setup-based. So if you need to add a new revenue or billing formula, you can the system how we're going to recognize revenue, how we're going to bill this client. So, flexible and powerful to meet your needs today and also into the future. Depending on the type of work you have, if you have cost reimbursable work, this billing pool group comes into play. So these are areas that, Extivia has extended the solution, and it's in our Govcon 365 app to give you everything you need to run your business and be compliant. So billing pool group, this is regarding on a cost plus project, recovery of your indirect rates. So the system will take your indirect rate structure and automatically make it available for you to recover your indirects the same way you allocate them, but you could have some unique method. So if we had an example where on this job, we're not able to recover G&A on travel, we can just select that option. And again, configuration based. So whatever your example is, we can set up the recovery method to mimic how you bid it. Sometimes salespeople, nothing against Mark, but sometimes salespeople, they want to close the deal, right? So they're trying to figure out how do we structure it the way the government wants us to? And sometimes that creates a burden for accounting. So we try to create a flexible way that you can recover indirects no matter, I shouldn't say no matter how, but giving you a lot of flexibility there if you've got some kind of unique recovery method. The fee percent, if you've got a cost plus fixed fee, this is the fee that you earn or profit. So again, it's setup based, all reusable. It can handle a wide variety of scenarios there. And then whatever kind of withholding you have. On the contract side, this is used for incurred cost submission. So we've got today schedules A, B, C, D, E, and H. So if you need to track in the system, what is your contract type to report on the incurred cost submission? That's the place we track it. The primary contract number. So we talked earlier about having that contract vehicle sitting above the job. This is where we assign it to the job. So if I want to report on all work that goes through my GSA vehicle, I can just run a report using that primary contract number as a filter. Contracting office and paying office, related information on that job. So these are some of those key setups that drive the application to automate the things that, you might be doing manually today, you're doing it offline, or you're struggling to do certain things. So we try to make it easy to get to the information and also give you the flexibility to handle unique scenarios. The next thing on a job I want to talk about is the work breakdown structure, or WBS. So this is kind of the guts behind it. And I was talking with one of our clients that's in an implementation process right now. And what they told me was this WBS, once they understood it, it could handle all their business scenarios so they could automate billing that they were doing manually today. So this work breakdown structure, it's a 60-character alphanumeric field. You can see how it allows me to roll things up to multiple levels. It's the way that I'm going to track my acronyms and CLINs. As I scroll all the way over to the right, I can see my contract and funded values. They can be set at any level of the WBS, and you saw that roll up on the job card. The next thing is each of these tasks or subtasks, you can identify, in this case, their charging levels. I can identify, is this something that is for time charging, expense charging, both? Maybe it's neither. And then you've got membership. So this is your workforce authorization. So who can charge to this project? In addition, so it's all in one place, all in one database. This control also allows me to restrict people from charging. So I can tell the system that this individual, Timothy, can only charge during this 10-day time frame. Everybody else will have visibility for the entire period of performance for that task. And I'm going to go to the task card in just a minute. And then finally, approval hierarchies, whether it's time, expense, or purchase requisitions, unlimited levels of hierarchy there, and you can identify how that's going to get approved. Each one of those WBS levels has an individual task associated with it. So that task, this allows me to override at the task level the period of performance. So like I talked about, the charging for time is only available during the POP, unless it's restricted by individual. In addition, the tasks can be of their own unique type. So if you have a job that's mainly T&M, but then you've got a task that's firm fixed price or cost plus fixed fee, you can model it the way the government issued it. In addition, you can override the department or any of the revenue and billing formulas at the task level. So again, goes to flexibility and also scalability, because as these companies grow, their needs become more complex. So we want to keep it simple, but handle complexity where needed. So I'm not going to go through, because today's meant as a short demo, I'm not going to go through all details of the job setup, like Mark mentioned, and also Alex. We've got the snack time snippets, which focuses on a specific area. Today's meant as general. But also, just to talk about a couple of these other things, we can track your T&M rates. Like I mentioned, we can copy it in from a schedule, copy contract pricing. You could also have pricing unique to that job. We can export stuff to Excel and also import stuff from Excel, whether it be, the prices. We've also got budgeting. So if you need to track budgets, you can track down to the resource level. System will also calculate your burdens on budgets. Budgeted rates are if you have a recovery amount, right? So we talked earlier about recovery structure, which is billing pool group. The budgeted rates is if you had a provisional rate for overhead, say it's 50% on this job, you're giving a discount at 45. Budgeted rates allow me to override your provisional rates at the job level. And then alerts, this is a way that you can get notified versus running a report. You can compare what's been spent or billed. So spent means the cost has been incurred. Billed means you've posted the invoice. Compared to what's been funded or budgeted, and then trigger an alert at a certain percentage. And like I mentioned, we just finished the delivery of this predictive piece that from Power BI, we can notify somebody that budgeted amount plus what's been used already compared to what's been funded, when it's going to hit there, say 60 days prior, right? So, doing some things that really nobody in the marketplace is doing because of business analytics, which is that reporting and dashboard tool. So this gives you a little idea on the job side, what the application does, but handling cost reimbursable, T&M, FFP, whether it's an LOE, it's a milestone or a fixed amount that you bill every month. System has the ability to manage subcontract agreements. So, if you got a lot of subcontractors, they can enter time in the system, and it can flow all the way through to both billing and AP side. Resources are your people, and we've enhanced the resource management side of this to handle if you've got SCA contracts or Davis-Bacon contracts. Also, if you need to manage your benefit plan. So benefits, your PTO accruals can be handled through the system. System can also track your corporate labor category codes, as well as your PLC or project-specific labor category codes. And then the last thing I want to talk about in the application is indirect rates. So this is something that's unique to a government contractor, and the system is going to support whatever your structure is. There's 3 key steps to setting it up. So step 1 is you're just defining your rate structure. In this case, I've got a single fringe, single overhead, and a single G&A, but you can have multiple fringe pools, multiple overhead pools, any kind of intermediate pools or service centers. It's all setup driven. And then you're telling the system, how does the rate get calculated? So that's my pool, cost, and base. So it's just a mathematical formula where you're telling the system, I've got a range of GL accounts that make up my pool, a range that make up my base. In this case, all departments participate, but you could have departmental specific pools. Once you accumulate the cost, the next step is to allocate them. So are they intermediate where they go into another account, or are they final where they go out to a job? And then we're tracking your provisional rates, also your actual rates through time. These are getting allocated to both the job and the general ledger. And then you can have your history of all of your indirect rates through time. You don't ever need to override it, so you can see what your rates are, whether it's 3 years back or this year. And then finally, once you get your final rate, you can plug that in. So final approved rate from the government. And then that can actually be used to produce your final invoice. So again, just at a high level, some of the things that we've done to really make it a great solution for a government contractor. If you have the requirement to do small business tracking, we've got all the classifications on the vendor side. And then our planning suite, this allows you to do some what-if scenarios here. And then finally, today we're not going to go through timesheets, expense reports, and requisitions, but fully integrated timesheet, expense, PTO tracking, requisitions. And whether you're doing it from your mobile device or you're doing it from a browser, system's going to support both of those methods. Where I want to close out today and why I brought that email up was because what we see is Power BI is really a game changer, and Microsoft has become the leader in business intelligence, and Power BI is that platform. So at Extivia, we jumped on this early. We've added significant improvements to our Power BI solution. So everything from adding additional reports and dashboards to also updating the queries. And what I want to do is I want to just spend the next 30 seconds or minute talking a little bit about Power BI, and then we'll break for any questions you guys might have. So what we've done is built out the series of reports and dashboards. Let me go ahead and I'll make it full screen. I know some folks probably haven't heard of Power BI, but we've got actually a couple webinars, I think, Alex, on that. So anyone that wants to learn about Power BI, go to extivia.com and you can check out one of our webinars on Power BI. And I think Mark and I might even have done a snack time snippet on it. But Power BI, it gives you the ability to visualize your data. So this is going to be pretty much real-time data from Business Central published over to Power BI. Right-hand side, it's just showing me how much revenue we're generating by customer. Over to the left is revenue and budgeting by project. And down in the body here, this grid is showing me by project and month, what is our top line revenue, a breakout of our costs, and then profit. Each of these tiles is interactive. So if I select a certain customer, now the other sections are going to auto update. We're going to see details just about that customer. So you can see this acoustic kitty project. We can look at the details behind it. We've added to it now the ability to also drill through to other reports about this job. So I can see the AR history. So everything from what the open AR is, payments that have been applied, time detail. Show me the people that have charged against this job, show it trended by month, expense detail, all the expenses that have been charged, burn down of hours, so both budget and actual and how that's trending, people's actual timesheets. So what does it look like from the daily view? If I go to the project status, it's like the next level down below this project. And now I've got some pretty neat metrics on this job. So now that revenue budget comparison, this is trended on a monthly basis. I can see total funded value, how much funded backlog we have. And now in the body, I'm seeing labor broken out by labor category code. My ODCs in the next level of detail, and then the burdens at a level down. So it allows me to kind of see the big picture, but drill down or drill through to see more detail. These tiles are also interactive. So if I want to look at an individual task, how are we performing on this task called requirements? I can get to that detail there. So really a great way to help deliver information to both the operations, the finance team, and the executive team to give them visibility of overall performance, drill down to answer questions that you might have, and really get to the insights that you need to run your business. So I think we're going to stop here. This gives you a little insight, and you can also build your own queries on the fly. Actually, one last thing before we take questions, Alex, that I just want to mention is, let me go ahead and I just want to edit a view, and I want to create a blank sheet. And the reason is to show you some of the metrics that we're tracking, right? So when you have a blank sheet, it's kind of like a blank canvas if you're an artist, and then you just select what it is that you want to analyze. So over to the right, these are the different fields, and these are the visualizations. So if I say I want to analyze project details, and I want to look at it by job description, I just click the button, and now over to the left, it's going to add that. And then I can look at other data elements. So whether it's AR, budget, funding, the job ledger is going to have a lot of stuff in there, timesheet detail. So when I select it and it expands, now you can see the kind of detail we're tracking about the job. So backlogs and billings, costs with provisional data, actual data, so in essence burdened, profit, indirect hours, etc. So if I want to look at, in this case, revenue by job, I just select that, and now I've got that trend of revenue by job. If I wanted to switch it from a point in time and look at it more of, how is it trended over something, I would switch it to a matrix, and now a section shows column. So now that allows me to add that trend. So if I want the trend to be a date, I would just drag and drop that month to where it says column. And now instead of it just being point in time, it's showing me how that's trended, month over month. When you click into a blank space, this allows me to create another tile within that report. So if I did the same thing and said, I want to look at things by the customer versus by the job, I could just use my customer name, and maybe I want to look to see what the backlog is. So we'll go back down and to our ledger and say, show me backlog by customer. Maybe I should check the box to make it select it. And now it's showing me that backlog. This is where sometimes numbers don't jump out the way that a visual does. So if I want to look at some kind of chart, I can just switch it to a chart view, and now you're seeing the details by customer. And same idea, if I selected particular customer, it would filter the other section. And then you can also, resources are your people. You could also have details about your people and how many hours were charged. So, it's not just a static view. It's something that you can analyze and dig into, and really, like our customer said, change the way they're doing their business, and has really had a huge impact on a lot of our clients, giving them real-time data and putting them in a position to really predict the future and make good business decisions. So that's just a little bit of a preview today. Appreciate everybody joining, and I think we've got just a couple minutes for questions. So Alex, I don't know if you want to open up questions, and happy to answer them.
Definitely. If anyone has questions, please submit those now in our Q&A section. And while we're waiting for that, I did just want to remind you about Extivia's on-demand webinar library. Paul mentioned it earlier. We've been broadcasting our tech expertise in these weekly webinars for some time now, and those now all live on our website, extivia.com. You can watch any of our old webinars as well as see what webinars we have coming up and register for those. So definitely check that out. And we'll give a couple minutes here for anyone to submit questions.
All right, so Alex, I see one coming in here. I'll go ahead and take the first one, I guess. So, question around migration of legacy data. So it sounds like this customer is on Deltek. Can you help support us migrating our legacy data, and how many years of information can we migrate? So, great question, and what I want to do is expand on this because it's not just specific to Deltek. Like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, we've migrated hundreds of companies off of many different systems. Microsoft's got a capability for us to load the data into Business Central. We use Excel as an intermediate tool. So we've got pre-built Excel templates. We just have the client load the data into Excel, and then we can upload it. I can tell you that we've migrated, I think the most number of years was, I think we migrated 15 years of data. I wouldn't recommend that. In fact, we tried to convince the client not to do it, but they wanted to shut off their old system. So we did help them to migrate all that data. The client helps us in that process, but we can migrate as many years as you need. And depending on the system, some we have more knowledge of where we can really dig in and help more. So reach out to us and let us know, and we're happy to support you there.
Awesome. It looks like we've gotten a couple more questions in. First up,
right.
How do employees enter hours on the timesheet?
All right. Yeah. So good question. And I know we didn't go through timesheets and expense reports, but there is a browser-based T&E that we've added to Dynamics. So Dynamics had a timesheet system, but it doesn't give you the DCA compliance. So we've enhanced it. It's built into Dynamics. You just go to a browser, and I didn't mention this, but whether you're on, use Internet Explorer, you use Firefox, Safari, it doesn't matter. You can just go to a browser, record your timesheets and expense reports. We also give you the ability to do it from a mobile device. So you can record your time from a mobile phone. And we've also worked with systems where if you need to clock in, clock out, we can certainly do that.
All right, great. Another question we got in here. For old NAV customers, when would we be able to migrate to BC Cloud? I believe you are currently going through the testing phase of the toolkit by Microsoft.
Yeah, so good question. We actually have a client that we're going through that process right now. So I would say that probably around the February, March timeframe, we'll make that toolkit available to work with all of our customers that are on-prem NAV users to move them to the cloud. So we'll actually reach out. Once, Alex, you'll let me know who it is, I'll reach out to them and we can talk about how we would do that.
Definitely. And we got another question in just now. Do you calculate utilization as a % of budgeted hours? For example, we have a utilization goal of, say, 90% billable of 1,900 hours.
Yeah. So on the utilization percent, and I didn't show that graph. So utilization, there's some complexity in it in that, do you consider hours on G&A, on certain non-direct things as utilized or not, right? So how we do it is we've got a pre-built formula, but we can enhance the formula. So it's done off of, we've got on a monthly basis, we identify how many working hours are available, less holidays, and we use that as the baseline. But we can also, we've got clients that do it differently. So Power BI allows us to configure that, how we calculate the utilization. So if you have something unique about how you do it, we can handle it through Power BI.
All right, awesome. I do think that's all the time we have this morning. If anyone has further questions, Mark and Paul's contact info is on screen here, so definitely don't hesitate to reach out. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Mark and Paul, for all that great information. We so appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Stay dry and stay
Thanks,
safe.
everyone.
And